What's going on, guys? Bingo here. I'm with the Duel Factory for this week's episode of X2 Drop, our Yu-Gi-Oh podcast we do every week, talking about something. And this week there was a couple of things that came up that we want to talk about. A lot of it comes to new cards coming out in the TCG, from the new sets coming out, as well as the reveal of the OTS, some of the OTS supers and ultis, and we're just going to talk about the impact on them, how we feel like their product releases have been going, and anything else that comes up. So it should be a pretty laid-back discussion this week. But, Joe, you've been testing a lot of stuff a lot more than me, and the one you keep bringing up is Scrap-a-Raptor, right?
Oh, yeah. 1,000%, bro.
So what is so good about this card?
So, for those of you who don't know, I'll just go a quick rundown of the card. So, Scrap-a-Raptor, it's a level 4 dinosaur. So, no, it can be searched by not only Scrapyard, which is a rota for non-tuner scrap monsters, but it can also be searched by Fossil Dig, which is super huge, right? It can also be searched by Oviraptor, it can be summoned off Miscellaneous Source, etc., etc. Once per turn, you can destroy another card on the field, and if you do, you can additionally normal summon one extra scrap monster the turn in addition to your normal summon, right? And then it has a secondary effect that if it's destroyed by the effect of a scrap monster, then you can add either a copy of Scrap Factory, which card's insane, or you can add a non-tuner scrap monster from deck to hand. So it's another way of searching your Scrap Recycler. So we went from 3 copies of Scrap Recycler, so now you could play 3 copies of Scrap-Raptor, you can play 3 copies of Scrapyard, you can play 3 copies of Fossil Dig in any deck that wants to do the scrap combo. And that being said, having access to that is insane for a lot of decks because it just puts so many link materials on the board. It's crazy, and it meshes with a lot of decks. The first thing you think of is Orcus. Like, that's already crazy enough.
Yeah, is it a Earth Machine or a Dark Machine?
It is a Earth Dinosaur.
Oh, right, you said Fossil Dig. That is so weird. A dinosaur and scraps.
Well, all the scrap cards are weird, bro. So like, you would think they're all machines, but they're all Earth attribute, but they're all different types. So if you ever want to, rivalry them, that'd be hilarious. But no, it's just like that combo just got even more generic than it was before. Because like at first it's like, well, I could just play 3 copies of Scrap Recycler, and that'll just be my ideal normal summon. Now it's like Zoo consistency, where you have 12 different copies of Rat to open turn 1, and that's broken.
Yeah, it's do we, in your opinion, with the current card pool, do you think it's going to be one of these combos that gets out of hand and it just becomes like the meta? You know, it's played in everything. Like, oh, here we go. You opened 6 copies of this starter, or you think it's just going to be good?
I think it's going to be good. It might take it some time, but at the same time, because depending on what we have access to, because there's a lot of stuff that we still have access to, it could probably just hit the ground running, completely warp the format. Because that card is just insane for what it does.
I'm gonna throw out a counter argument because I don't really know too much about it, but weren't people saying the same thing about like that Phantom Knight card that came out? That's basically Armageddon Knight. And like, what makes it different? Obviously, it's an ignition effect, not a normal summon effect. So, is that what separates it? Like, what makes it stand out?
I don't know if necessarily the ignition effect is what separates it, but what I think it separates it is the scrap combo itself is so good at generating like extra advantage without you actually committing to any of your actual engine. So, for example, right. One of the big things that made the scrap engine so good in decks like Spiral or decks like Orcust, or like I've seen people generically play it in rogue decks like ABC too, right? It meshes well with other archetypes. For example, like we'll do the Spiral deck first because that's when it really like started to get popular. That's like the first meta deck it was actually like just put in, right? It gave you access to cards like your Quick Fix if you needed to. You could also throw cards like Drone in the graveyard if necessary, right?
Yeah.
But what it also provided is that it either A, made an Appaloosa under or just over 5 summons without committing like actual engine pieces, and it sets you up for the following turn. So now that we have, or let me rephrase that. Since we're going from 3 copies to 12 copies essentially because of this card being printed and the road is available to us. The consistency is way higher than, say, the Phantom Knight Torn Scales, because Torn Scales can only be searched with Rhoda. It can be searched with Cloak, which has to be in the graveyard first. Or technically it can be searched with Isoul, but then you can't use it the turn that you add it to your hand. This card just literally like puts wherever Recycler is, it just puts it on the field and your opponent has to deal with it then, or you just go off.
Yeah.
So I think...
So this is one of those combos where you're basically... You're going to use this as your primary line of play to bait out opponent interruptions, right? So you start with 5 cards, and you really are only committing the 1 to establish a board that stops their interruptions, right? Like that. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. So you can get to an Apollousa or some form of negation prior to committing more than that 1 card, right? Like that. Is that what it's going to be used for, in your opinion?
100%. It's just the consistency of decks that rely on that type of engine just skyrockets with this card just being introduced to the format.
Yeah, and then you still have the rest of your hand, like once that engine has done its purpose, which at the end state of that, let's say you're going first, I'm assuming you end with like an Apollousa and maybe something else.
I've been watching a lot of decks. So if you want to actually see what the card can do, like verbatim, go to Lithium's channel, which is a really, really good let's see, example of what it's doing. But I've been watching them do like Orcus plays where you still end on like your regular Orcus combo, and then you can still end on like multiple cards like IP Masquerena, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Like the card's insane. It gives you a lot of leeway.
Yeah, so the scrap engine probably gets you to 4 or 5 like link materials to do what you see fit with, and then you have the rest of your hand to pop off. So exactly. That's what I'm guessing.
100%.
All right, so that's a pretty interesting one. Another question, obviously. So you said it can be searched off Oviraptor. Given our current card pool, is there any way to get it on the field after an Oviraptor summon, like a normal summon?
So you can so the ideal way I would do it personally, because it could be straight searched, but thinking of the Dino strategy, there's nothing I know of that gives you an additional normal summon of a dinosaur monster like that turn. But the ideal way to do it, because your combo puts quite a few dinos in the graveyard anyway, is you can summon it by searching Miscellaneous Source off Oviraptor and then summon it that way and continue to play. Because the cool thing about the dinosaur, or Scrap Raptor I should say, is it's not just like limited to only doing stuff inside its archetype, right? Or doing the scrap combo. Yeah. I've been watching people summon a Scrap Raptor off of like a baby pop from Baby Stegosaurus and then use the Scrap Raptor to pop another baby on the field so you can resolve another baby in a turn. So you're just putting more and more dinos on the field too. That's a deck that also gets a super big power boost from that card.
Yeah, as I've been thinking about it, it just seems like a good addition. Now, as far as like the full scrap engine, what you're playing, I couldn't tell you, but it seems utility, it just like fits with the deck. It's not a normal summon reliant, so you can get that summon off Misk. You can summon it off a baby just to keep steamrolling advantage, because dinos sometimes lack that follow up if you just hard stop them in their tracks, right? So maybe this is something that helps them out.
That, and like if you look at the card, like even just like what it can do basically, its stats are insane. It's a level 4, it's Earth, it's Dinosaur, and it's a tuner. The fact that it is a tuner is crazy.
It was a tuner. Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's why it can be searched off Scrapyard. That's why that card went up. That card is crazy.
All right, so the next one is a new pot card coming out. It's a Pot of Disparity, I believe.
Yeah.
And this one is interesting to me. Now, I don't think it's like going to warp the game. People aren't going to freak out about it, but it is definitely a good card, given the right deck building. So for anybody that doesn't know, it's kind of similar to Extravagance. It's banish 3 or 6 cards from your extra deck face down. And then you excavate the top of your deck equal to the number banished, and you add 1 of those cards to your hand. You place the rest of them on the bottom in any order you want, and then you can't draw you can't draw the turn you use it, and any damage your opponent takes is halved. So it's a very limiting card, right? Which we see on these pot cards nowadays. Like they have to do that because Yu-Gi-Oh is such a volatile game. If they don't print enough restrictions on, it's just going to end up on the ban list, right?
100%.
This one is very, very limiting. Obviously, you need to play a non-extra deck focused deck for the most part, and you can't draw the rest of the turn. It doesn't limit your special summoning, which is amazing. I think that's a huge bonus for it. And you're digging 6 cards into your deck to cherry pick one of them. And that could be huge, right? So you figure at the end of, there's 35 cards left in your deck after you open, and then you play this card. So you're digging 6 cards in. So that's, I'm really bad at math right now. It's like 18% of your deck or something like that.
It's a decent chunk.
And
because what is it? If you're playing a 40 card deck and you reveal 6,
that's, you got to remember you drew 5 already.
Yeah, you drew 5 already. So let's do the math here, right? So you open up extra card and you banish 6 off the top of your deck. So technically, you're getting to see 6 other cards. So basically, you only need to see 1 copy of it. It's a very high chance you'll see it.
All right. So if my keyboard would stop being bad, 35 or 29 divided by 35. So yeah, 18%, 17%, depending on how you round the decimal dust, which is pretty big. So this could help you get to those power cards that are not searchable. This helps. I'm just gonna say bad decks. Like it helps you kind of get that extra edge. Maybe that exact power card you needed.
It does help bad decks, but I think the decks that it really really helps out is decks that are relying on 1 card engines. So let's put one really big that card deck out there that I think that really benefits from this, and that's Guru Control, right?
Yeah.
So the big thing Guru Control needs, it has to resolve Guru. That's the only way it plays. Well, you now have a 5-card opening hand. You activate Pot of Disparity. You activate it, and you reveal 6 cards. Well, you banish 6 cards and reveal the top 6. That's 6 more. It's basically having a second hand, right? You get to draw another 5 cards to start, or 6 cards in this case, to start your turn, and that's another 6 chances to see at least 1 copy of Guru, and that's broken.
Yeah,
right?
That's huge for that deck, and obviously that's a deck that wants to play Extravagance, and this will conflict with that because in my personal opinion, you're not going to not play Extravagance in Guru. It's just too good. But maybe
I don't know, that card's really good.
Maybe you split it 2-2. Maybe you just play 3-2 or whatever the ratios you set on. Ideally, you're just going to get to Guru, right?
Sorry, remind me, Pot of Disparity, it prevents you from drawing at all that turn, right?
Yeah, I asked, and I just looked it up. It's not for the rest of the turn. It's the entire turn you activate it, which is the huge downside. But you can
still search, right?
What's up?
You can still search after this card resolves, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes, you can. It only limits drawing.
So, okay, so let's fast forward here. Let's think of a deck that's actually meta relevant, and another deck that just comes straight to mind that I'm thinking about it. It's not necessarily the variant decks, but decks like Eldritch, right? So there are some versions of that deck that you either play pure Eldritch, or some people are still playing the Numeron Eldritch deck or whatever. One, now you get to pick and choose what extra deck monsters that you banish from your extra deck, right? So now you can guarantee that if you draw into or see a Numeron network, it resolves and you can stick a Zexal on the field. It's another way to get to cards like Cursed Eldlin, or if you need an actual Eldritch trap, Golden Land trap, or if you need an Edlixir trap, it's another 6 chances to see that. If you're playing a version that's reliant on resolving, I've seen some of the Chaos Ruler Synchro monster, right? It's another way for you to get to your 1-card engines like Solitaire or something like that gets you into a level 8 Synchro so you can resolve that Chaos Ruler. That's a huge impact on a meta-relevant strategy right there.
Yeah, and don't for anybody that looks at this, it's you're banishing 6 cards, you get 1. Like Joe said, you are literally basically seeing an entire new hand, and you are cherry picking the 1 card you want to see, which is why you want to draw cards in the first place. So obviously, it would be amazing if this was banish your hand face down and draw 6, right? Like, or something absurd like that. But this isn't Pokemon, right? It's not how it's not how it works.
Bro, you're giving us an in at that point. I don't want that.
No, that's like a Sycamore. Like, I'm down to 1 card in hand. I play this. I fucking draw 17 more cards. Like,
Zawaldo is what they draw. Zawaldo.
But I'm happy about this card. It's just another tool that you can use when deck building, because this is one of the types of cards you're not going to build a strategy around it, but you're going to find a strategy that synergizes with it. You're not just going to shove this in whatever deck, because
Absolutely.
that's bad deck building. But I'm excited about it. I like these, I'd say heavily restricted pot cards, because pot cards are not always really good. Shout out to Generosity, but this one, I'm happy with it. I don't think it's overly nerfed. I don't think it's underpowered. I think it's a happy medium. I might end up seeing very little play, but I'm gonna have a play set. You know what I mean?
Bro, if you want to talk about a nerfed pot card, you ever read Pot of Dichotomy?
Yeah, the card is almost good.
It's one line of text away. One line.
Yeah, and that was like a one of in like Hat in 2014, wasn't it?
That was like, people were super hyped to play that in Hat, and then it's like,
there's one too many restrictions on that card, and it's unfortunate, but it is a draw too. So,
all right, I did do that to Panda. I forgot. I was playing Dichotomy and fucking Evil Zars, and I fucking resolved it. It was fantastic, but that's side point.
All right, so the next set of cards we're going to talk about is the OTS 15 cards that we've seen. If I'm not mistaken, we've only seen 2 Altis and 3 Supers plus the token. So we'll start with the Supers, and Shaddoll Dragon is finally getting a super rare printing. After how long?
I'm so fucking excited. My panties have been wet for days now.
Yeah, it's about time, right? We had all of the Shaddoll cards reprinted in Ultra like last year, but there was no dragon, and it was like a rare in the set, in its original print, wasn't it?
It had a dual spine, so it was a basic rare. It's never had a foil print, and they just kept getting the shaft.
Yeah, so that was really freaking annoying, but we get that upgrade. Hopefully more people will be excited to mess around with Shaddoll. Zoodiac Borbo, it is about time. Thank God. That's all I have to say about that.
Bro, Borbo is dope. Because when you summon Borbo, I get to make Zeus. That's all I care about. And now I can do it the Super Borbo.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. I like seeing just the sets getting completed. It's really random. I don't think Hammer Kong ever got a super either, but who cares about that?
Oh, calling.
Yeah, and then Dogmatica Punishment. So it's a trap card. I don't even know what it does.
Don't you talk back about that card.
So that's neat, I guess. And then the Alti printing for Krishron Hulk. Ooh. Hopefully this is foreshadowing. There was that old superstition. The Alti printing means ban or touched on the ban list, right? It's kind of been out of favor for a while, but...
Okay, so that card has a chance to look like really, really clean and crisp, and I'm almost positive Konami's going to fuck up the printing of it, and I'm going to be super upset.
I hope they don't give it the Ghost Ogre printing. Decode was all right. Link Spider looked really good.
Well, I did really like Link Spider.
Yeah, so that card could look gorgeous. So hopefully that's good. And then Armed Dragon level 10. Joe, give me your thoughts on this one.
Who the fuck thought it was a good idea to put Armed Dragon level 10 as a goddamn ulti? I don't give a fuck if we chaz it up all the goddamn... That's such a goddamn waste. Fuck.
Why is it a waste? It's a good card.
Bro, it's fucking Armed Dragon. Have you...
Yeah, but if I want to make my A to Z Armed Dragon catapult cannon, I want to use a ulti.
You were bullied in school, weren't you? You trying to get swirlied right now? Bro, it's Armed Dragon.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I don't care what agenda or product they're pushing. This is a fucking waste. The community...
I know Chaz has
The community looks forward to these, right? We don't get altis and main sets. We get cool side print, but there's something special about the alti, right? Everybody loves it. And now we only get 3 every couple of months, and you're gonna waste one on a card that will literally see no play, no competitive
Don't get me wrong. We're getting all the new like Thunder like Armed Dragon cards and stuff like that, and like okay, that's like it's still fucking Armed Dragon. They're retraining the deck. It's still gonna suck, unfortunately. Like at least when they printed Toon Kingdom as an ulti, like it made sense. Because there was a whole there was new Toon cards coming out, and like
at least that's a fan favorite, fan favorite strategy that like people want to make work. Like it'll never be good, right? But people will build a Toon deck. Like Joe, I'm assuming you have a Toon core in a binder somewhere.
Yeah, I'm slowly picking up a foil out Toon core, and I'm still missing some cards. But yes, I have it on deck, ready to go. At any point, because Pegasus was the fucking first villain in Yu-Gi-Oh! He was cool. A likable villain.
And the artwork on the tunes is loved. And I don't care what support Armed Dragon is getting. Like, unless they get the most insane, busted, like, fusion boss monster that requires you to play this fucking piece of garbage, you're never going to use it.
Bro. The worst part of this whole printing, and no one could ever have had the foresight for this. They gave fucking Robbie Cole power because he predicted it. This man cannot have power. It's Robbie Cole. He's Palpatine.
I thought
we're the Jedi Order. We're losing.
I thought he died, man.
No, he predicted it, and I'm so pissed. Because now all the fucking troglodytes are all focusing their power. They're viewing him as Goku, giving his energy for Spirit Bomb, just to fuck our community. Sorry, I got a little...
No, I mean, I don't really enjoy that man's opinions, but hey, if he got it right, good for him. He needs something. He needs something positive in his life.
Hold on, Aaron makes a really good point. You can get 2 ulti level 10s on the field, and we can overlay them for Gustav Max. So now I got to accomplish those.
Yeah, well... Does level 10 destroy all cards or all your opponent's cards?
I think it just destroys
face up monsters your opponent controls. Okay, so you get the first one out somehow, and you use its effect, discard a card to blow up one monster, attack with both, and then overlay for Gustav Max this game.
That's AK, baby. That's AK!
Oh my god. And that's everything we know from the OTS pack besides the World Legacy token, which is pretty neat looking, I guess.
I know Phoenix players jizzing his pants over World Legacy cards, bro. Shout out to my favorite Twitch stream.
Whatever. So I hope we get a good one. I don't know what I would classify as a good one, but just something that's not a waste. Like there's dozens of good picks for OTS printings, and Armed Dragon level 10 was not one of them.
For anyone predicting Feet Ash as an ulti for the third one, you guys, there's a special place in hell for you. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, I want Forehead Ash as the ulti.
No, I don't want... No, I'm not gonna...
Yeah, no, I don't want hand traps to be ultis right now. Like, if it was 2 cards plus a hand trap, fine, but when you already have one throwaway ulti, like I don't want to see the last one go to a hand trap. Ulti Imperm might look gorgeous.
It has the chance. We could put a trap card as an ulti. What a time to be alive. What a time.
You don't appreciate Abyssphere enough, or what?
I mean, look, I love that card. It's not good anymore, but I love it. Ulti Torrential Tribute! Give it to me!
That'd be fun.
I need it.
There's nothing wrong. I would not complain if they ultied out classic Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like Scapegoat, that was cool. What if they did some shit like ulti Graceful?
I'll say, okay, so ulti Goat card. Okay, one, I'd be maybe okay with it, or maybe more triggered, because one, I hate Goat format personally. But like, I can see why they would do that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but, I wouldn't want it in an OTS pack because it's a tournament pack, and you don't want to pull something you can't legally play. But I would really like to see foiled out, like new foiled out card versions of old cards. Just because
Metamorphosis as an ulti would be clean.
Yeah, Metamorphosis is anything that is above a super rare.
Yeah, any ulti Metamorphosis would be cool. Like Delinquent Duo,
Giant Trunade, Sakuretsu Armor.
Giant Trunade would be a dope ulti if we're doing it for like dope format cards and stuff like that. But Ulti Reborn, baby, give it to me.
I feel like they should have done that by now.
I don't know, bro. I think they might, because I've been watching some fucking Twitch streamers, and I'm telling you right now, the amount of times I Reborn ripped off the top is just fucking disrespectful.
Yeah, Reborn
it's gotta come. Right?
It's still a really good card. It's just one of non-searchable, like non-engine card, you know.
But bro, it's just like disrespectful. You're like, oh, but what are you gonna do about this top deck Reborn, and then just rip it? No, we can't have Ulti Dark. Yeah, okay, for anyone listening to the podcast, you should be. I wish you could see our Discord, because it's either fire or they're sauceless French and it's horrible suggestions.
I remember the last locals, or one of the last locals I went to. I was playing. I don't fucking know what I was playing, but I instant fusioned out 1,000 Eyes Restrict, and I ended up losing because I got Reborn back, and I couldn't attack.
You got played. You got played.
And it was a top deck last card in his hand.
He's like, bruh.
I was like, all right, well, I don't know what to do.
Bro, Aaron's taking shots at us. He said Ulti Dark Magician Blue Eyes would be a bad call. Fuck Aaron.
Well, I mean, they'll fuck that up too, because they always pick the worst arts.
Tablet art.
They already have that, don't they?
Yes, they're gonna do it again, just like Vanity's Fiend, bro.
Oh
it
my
was
God.
an Ulti Cybernetic Impact.
No.
They're like, you know what we need?
Another
we need
one.
Vanity's Fiend, Electric Boogaloo.
All right, Joe.
They're like, we already have printings. Let's give them another one.
We're kind of low on time, but if you could pick one card to get Ulti, that's a non-engine card or non-archetype card, what would it be?
A non-archetype or non-engine card to get printed as an ulti.
Yeah, so just like a staple or a tech or something that isn't an archetype.
That isn't an archetype. Hold on. I got my binder of spell. There's like a spell card. I can't remember what it is. Shit. What is one card I've always wanted ulti that doesn't come in an ulti printing? Honestly, one I think would be really cool to have ulti just because A, it's way too late, and B, the TCG is a bunch of fucking degenerates and got it put to one is Sekka's Light.
That would have been an awesome ulti.
That would have been a super nice ulti. But nah, us TCG players can't have anything fucking nice, because what do? Let's just make combo decks, 37 monsters, and just play 3 Sekkas. We're a bunch of assholes, bro. Like,
yes.
There's something else to say on the topic, man. This is nothing.
I'm trying to think. So there's a couple of things I want to say. Change of Heart is just a card that I think would look really good, but it's banned, so I don't really know if I can say that. Which other one?
Yeah, that'd be a cool one, but
yeah.
Is there any cards you want to turn into an ulti?
I think the one that I was thinking of the most was Imperm. I just think the artwork on that really could fit an ulti print if they do it well, and it could just look amazing.
I do have a runner-up card that we can mention because shout out to my boy Bobby. He used to play Malefic Skill Drain, but Skill Drain as an ulti would be clutch.
Yes, it would. Everything else I'm looking at is just like archetype cards, or has an ulti already.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's a tough question. It's definitely a tough question.
Mystic Mine.
I'm mad that Aaron said Bylon Cube. You motherfucker.
You want Mystic Mine as ulti, Joe?
I don't want to do the podcast anymore after that. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to find someone else. This motherfucker said ulti's Mystic Mine. I'm out.
Ulti Mystic Mine.
I'm out. I'm 100% out.
What about What about
right now.
Dragonic Diagram? You love that card, right?
I hate you.
All right, guys. Well,
All right, I did like playing True Draco Zoo, but like after
yeah,
like,
that was
like,
before Draco became an unbearable deck.
It sucks, bro.
But I mean, that's everything, guys. If you have enjoyed the podcast or want to give us a topic that you think would be better than this one, please let us know. You can join either one of our Discords, hit us up on Twitter, YouTube, whatever. The link should all be in the podcast description. But Joe, you got any closing comments?
Other than you're the worst person in the world for winning ulti fucking Mystic Mine, and the classic is Douglas French just has no sauce.
Piccolo, you have no sauce. Hey.
Oh, guys, we'll be back here, same time, same place next week. So Monday, 8 a.m., iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and eventually Pandora. And 10 a.m. on YouTube, youtube.com/bingohd. And I will see you guys next week. Peace out.
Okay, bye.